who are myself, Brendan Devitt. I am the HMIS manager, and I'm joined by Daniela Horan Gonzalez, our
Data Analytics Program Manager.
Data Analytics Program Manager. I made that title up, and so. All right. So today. Oh, that's us. All right. So today we're going to kind of cover three things briefly. First, I'm going to kind of quickly give an update and maybe a new thing to some of you, but our initiative as far as the regional HMIS data leads. We're going to touch on some of our existing resources that are available now, and then we're going to introduce two new tools that are available to HMIS participating agencies at the moment, and we think will make your lives easier. So first, this regional HMIS data lead. Our goal with that, I don't know, I guess my background before coming to IHCDA as the HMIS manager, I was up in Region 2A for 14 years. I was part of the COC, we used to be a COC, and then the Regional Planning Council. And I was always frustrated when we would get, the numbers we would get would be about the state. And I would want to know, how is our region doing? How can we find out something specific? Because when you're looking at all the state data, you're kind of getting lost in the noise. You don't know if it's you that needs to improve something or is doing well at something, or if it's across the state. So that was really the goal of kind of getting this project going. So the goal is to empower regions with access to their own data, to support local planning, and to understand your own regional performance. Currently, how to get your region involved. Each of the regional planning councils is able to select lead. This is another kind of leadership position. Each region has their own bylaws and ways of selecting leadership positions, so you'll want to follow those procedures for this data lead as well. And then we're asking everyone to develop a data usage plan. There is a toolkit that we've put together. When these come out, there'll be a link to it. That is really just, how is your community agreeing that you're going to use your data together? So when you have access to all of it, are you going to put together public dashboards? Or do you want to keep it all internal? Are you going to publish a report every now and then? So really, we're trying to empower you to make those decisions for yourself, come together and decide what it is you want, and it's something that can be adjusted over time. And then finally, once that data plan's written and approved, each agency, each HMIS participating agency in the region will have to opt into this project. The HMIS data lead will only have access to de-identified reports or aggregate reports, so you're not sharing client level data, but we still want agencies to opt in. So kind of regional data lead, what it is and what it isn't. What it is, we're looking for someone who's familiar with HMIS, who knows how to run reports and pull these 3 or 4 reports we have available. They can work to inform agencies on their data quality and performance, and it's really about running the reports. What we are not expecting is for you to be a data scientist. We're not expecting that you're in charge of auditing all the projects in your region or checking for compliance. That's our job or HUD's job, depending on who's funding. And then otherwise, we're also not looking for someone who's outside of an HMIS participating agency. You may have some great grad students or professors or just interested others who are really into data in your community. Get them involved, have them involved. Once stuff is pulled out of the system, they can look at it there, but we want the HMIS data lead to be the one accessing the system and pulling that out. Next. So I hit on this a little bit earlier, but here's all the types of things that we've kind of suggested that can be created. And as part of this initiative, we are hoping that as we move forward to start providing frameworks to do some of these things. So using Tableau Public to create a dashboard, putting annual reports together, looking at, you'll hear me talk about data quality a lot because that's important to us, but putting together like data quality report cards or monitoring that as a region. Putting together press releases, getting your victories out there, getting the struggles out there, letting the community know what's going on within your service providers. And then things like community engagement material. You need to put up a billboard, let's get some accurate numbers on it. You need to hand out flyers, let's make sure we're really reflecting what's going on. And there is going to do a pitch for the community communication workshop at 2:25 to 3:15. If that's your jam, Jesse has some suggestions on how you can get your message out there. All right, so now we're going to kind of look into some agency level tools. When we onboard agencies, you've probably been shown this page, whether you remember it's still there or not. These are all the current resources that are available, or not even all, some of the current resources that are available on the HMIS website. We've put together a lot of the official documents that govern HMIS, our data plans, our security. There's an HMIS user manual that Lori put together a couple years ago that goes really into detail on pretty much anything you may need to do in the day-to-day within the client track system. And then all of our how-to guides, we're continually growing that list. If there is something you're interested in doing in the system or you've tried doing before, feel free to reach out and ask. Worst thing is we'll tell you no, or tell you we're thinking about it, we'll get there someday. But there's already a lot of good resources. So hitting on things like APRs, the APR review tool, and we're adding like system performance measures. So all of that stuff is available to you. We're going to hit on some new tools, but those old ones are still super valuable. The APR is something you should lean on in addition to what we're talking about moving forward. All right, now for the fun part, I'm going to hand over the mic to Jess.
Nope. I'm not
Wow,
Jesse.
you're not Jesse. You're Daniela.
I'm Daniela. Thank you, Brendan. So I'm very excited about this session because we're going to show new tools that I will ask you if you've heard of SPM or EVA. So have you heard of SPM? Raise your hand. Okay, very good. Have you?
What is SPM?
Yeah, I will in a moment. Who has run an SPM? Raise your hand. Okay. Who is familiar with EVA? Raise your hand. Okay. Very good. So one person in the room is familiar with EVA, so I'm very excited to share more about it. But now let's talk about the two new tools that we want to introduce. One is the SPM. We've talked about this in the past a little bit. It's a system performance report. This is an annual report that the HMIS team at IHCDA submits to HUD, and it informs on 7 different measures of performance of our system, of our homeless response system. It's a year-to-year, oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just doing,
Thank you. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it focuses on 7 measures. You will see here that we have 5 measures. One of the 7 measures does not apply to our balance of state because it's for people who are category 3 homeless, according to HUD, and we do not have currently projects that serve category 3. And then the other one that is missing is the sheltered count. That's measure 3. Sheltered count, it just looks at the number of people who were sheltered during the reporting period. But we do focus on these 5 measures: the number of adults increasing income. This is for COC projects. The number of new individuals experiencing homelessness or first-time homeless. The number of individuals exiting to permanent destinations. Number of individuals returning to homelessness within 6, 12, and 24 months. And the length of time someone experiences homelessness. And the reason why we're presenting this today is because we want to empower you with this new initiative with the HMIS Regional Data Lead position to focus on outcomes instead of outputs. We've come a long way, and I remember at the beginning I used to say, well, you've served this many people, this is what the demographics look like, and that's where we would stop. But now we want you to focus on outcomes, and I think a really good way to do that is to look at your data, the people you serve, through these measures and see how you're doing in your community. So going back to EVA, EVA is a web-based data analysis tool. So it is, I guess, I don't know if the best word would be sponsor, but it is a HUD tool, but HUD did not design this. Apt Associates did. They're a contractor of HUD. And like it says, it's a web-based tool that focuses on two things. One is data quality, meaning data accuracy and completeness. And then the second thing is the flow and the performance of the system. It's super, super cool because I don't know how long you've been in this field, but for those who have been longer than, I don't know, 5-10 years, you'll remember that you used to download CSV exports or Excel files and try to make sense of where the errors were, and it was just messy and not great. So this is a good tool that we're going to talk about. So for SPMs, like some of you have said, you are familiar with this. For those that aren't, we have created 2 new tools. One is how to run SPMs for your agency, and the other one is how to make sense of the SPM report. So the how-to, and those are 2 links that will be available to you. The first one, the SPM for your agency, we cannot do this at the region level because it has client level data, but you can run it for your agency. There is a disclaimer that some of the measures might not translate the same for your agency as they would for the system, because again, this is a system report, right? And maybe your agency doesn't have all of the project types that are part of the system, or maybe it's a new project and you haven't exited anyone yet. So you won't have the measure successful exit or exit to permanent housing. And then the other, how to make sense of the SPM report, is reading, understanding what the numbers mean, diving deeper, learning how to share this with other people. And it also, for those who are going to be applying for the COC NOFO, it kind of walks you through those measures and what to look for. So, next, this is, who in here has run the HMIS CSV export? If you can raise your hand. Okay, about like a third of you. So the HMIS CSV export is under the HMIS exports in DB client track. It is a hash report, meaning that the client level data is de-identified. So instead of seeing John Doe 1/1/1990, you'll see number 1,355, and it's just a bunch of numbers. So this HMIS CSV export is consists of 24 files, and the values, and the information in these files are values instead of words. So there's a screenshot there. Under current living situation, you can see that there's a number and not a description of where the current living situation is. So these files are just for computers to read and to make sense of tables and things like that. So when you run an HMIS CSV export, and there's a how-to guide for how to do that, you can start using the new tool that is EVA. And we're going to talk about that now. And I'm going to do a demo. No. Can I? Yeah.
That'll be easier than on the computer.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the EVA website, and we're going to do a live demo. So you're going to see live what this looks like. And I would say, for those who do not feel comfortable, well, I assume that if you're in this session, you feel comfortable with data, or at least you're interested in data. And it doesn't matter how proficient you're with computers, this is a very easy tool, and I want you to pay attention to the possibilities that exist within this tool for you to use it in your agency, in your region. Because it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
We should have thought about this before.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so this is the welcome page to EVA. There is a bunch of information, instructions, need help. Everything you want to understand this tool is here. What I'm going to do is go to demo mode. So I'm going to click here. And this is just going to allow me to show you with fake data what the system looks like once you import your HMIS CSV export. Okay. So welcome to EVA. So you have a little bit of a description of what it is and some demo instructions. You won't need this, but to start, you click here to get started in this red button. And this is where you will upload the HMIS CSV export. It's a zip file. Once you run it, really easy to run that export. You upload it here. And if it is imported successfully, it will say success. You have successfully imported your CSV file. If there are any issues with your HMIS CSV export, you're going to have an CSV export file structure analysis. What that is just telling you what clients or what programs are giving you an issue and what you need to do to fix it. So it's pretty easy to understand. In this case, we have an invalid current living situation. So if you download that file, you'll be able to see what client is throwing that error. But in the case that everything works well, you'll be able to upload it. And I want to focus on two things today with this live demo. One is the data quality, and the other one is the system performance overview. Like I mentioned earlier, EVA focuses on these two things, and it's great for addressing data quality issues, but also to look at how people are going through agencies in your region or even in the state. So you click here, data quality, there's a drop-down menu. I'm going to focus on the data quality export interface and the system level data quality. So I'm going to click here, data quality export interface. So this export interface is very similar to, when you run a report in HMIS, you need to select parameters and things like that. It's very similar to that. There are instructions, I'm not going to read, but there are instructions in case you need more information about this. But it's basically selecting a date range, selecting an export type. So what this means is that you can do it at a system level, meaning say all your region, or you can do it by organization. In this case, we have both selected. And here we are going to select this data quality report. I would encourage you to focus on that one because that's the one that is going to give you the information that you need. So I'm going to download it so you can see what this looks like. So here you'll see data quality export. We've selected for our organizations and for the system. And I want to show you what this looks like. So we're going to go with organization O. You double click and you will see something like this, an Excel workbook. Now there are some tabs. I want to focus on these ones. Organization summary, that gives you a count of people who have an issue per organization. So in this case, you can see the number of enrollments that have a specific issue and which ones are high priority, error, and so forth. The next one is the project summary. It breaks it down by project. The third one is guidance. Now this is really cool because I don't know how many of you in the past have tried to make sense of APR or CAPR errors, and you just don't know where to look for that information. So this is really awesome because it gives you the issue and it explains to you what is causing that issue. So this is to understand what is causing that issue and maybe how to address it. And then when we dive into high priority errors and warnings, I'm going to go back to high priority. It doesn't only tell you what needs to be fixed, but it tells you who needs to be fixed that for. So that's really, really awesome. So you have this personal ID for the clients, and it tells you the issue. And since you've read about what that issue is, you can easily spot and clean that or correct those errors. So these are high priority, and then you have errors and warnings. Errors are something that is impossible or should be impossible in the data, and warnings are some things that maybe don't make a lot of sense, but maybe there's a good explanation for it, so you can explain that to HUD. So this is what this looks like. Who is excited about this? Does it make sense? Do you think yeah, good, I'm so glad. Yes, I am very excited about this export. Okay, so let's go back to, where are you?
To the left.
Oh, here, thank you. Okay, so that is what you can do here with the data quality export interface. I cannot see Nilufar, but Sam will tell me if I'm good in time. Okay, and then the second thing that I want to show you is this system level data quality. No, sorry, that is not it. That is not right. Project dashboard. Yes. Okay. One is the data quality export and the other one is the project dashboard. I apologize. These others, we won't talk about it today, but I want to focus on this project dashboard. So the project dashboard is really cool for having a summary of the number of clients that are that are in the project or that have exited the project. You can filter it by organization, and you can just have a quick summary of the number of clients that are in the project, exited. In case of permanent housing, permanent supportive housing, rapid rehousing, you can see how many clients have exited without a move-in date, or how many clients have a move-in date, or how many clients are missing a move-in date and are still in the project. So you can have an idea of those things. And it's really important because you work with people, you know the people you work with. I've had the privilege to be in Region 11 and Region 1A to do some site visits. And it's really empowering and amazing the work that you do to serve people experiencing homelessness. It really is. It really touches my heart. I feel like when I went there, it was like a sacred place because you really are taking care of humans. And that is the most important thing. So saying that, you know who you're working with, and maybe the numbers don't reflect that because you're busy in the day-to-day serving people. But by looking at these numbers, you can say, actually, we have served more people. Or, oh, I didn't realize that so many people did not have a move-in date. And that does impact certain things, you know, within the whole system. So that's a quick glance at that. Another cool thing about this is the timeliness. So timeliness is a big part of data quality. You want to make sure you're entering your data within 3 days. We say within 5 days in the data quality report. And this is important because that will impact, right, the quality of data that you enter. If you let many days go by, then some information, some detail you might not be able to recollect and truly put that in the system. So here you can see percent of records entered within 3 days. You can change this number to 5 days, 1 day, whatever is interesting to you, but 5 days is the maximum numbers that should go by with you entering information. So that is very interesting. And yeah, so any questions about this data quality section part of the AVA?
Is this something live ready for us to use?
Yes.
Yes. Great question. This is live, it's ready for you to use. This is again, Apt Associates put this together a few years ago. They all continuously make improvements and fix bugs and things like that. So yes, it's ready for you to use. So the next part that I wanted to go over is the system performance overview. The system performance overview, it's really a lot about visuals. So you'll see some really cool charts, visuals, that tell you something. There's a system flow, client system status, and system demographics you can dive into. And you'll see that these are other menus like a summary chart, detailed chart, month by month, and the information. And I'm going to touch on these in a little bit. So this summary chart is telling you how many people were active at start, how many people entered or exited within that reporting period, and at the end, how many people you were serving. You can break this down by understanding where these people came from. First-time homeless seems to be a big part of the number of people that enter the system, and that kind of goes along with what Jesse was saying of having more than 50% first-time homeless this last year. So that's very interesting. So you can break it down that way. You can also look at month by month and see if there's a specific month where you have more first-time homeless or you have less people entering your projects and whatnot. So you can see it that way. And something really cool that I encourage you to look at is this information tab. So this information tab is information about like definitions and what each thing means in that graph. So it helps you interpret your graph. So that's really neat. Then the client system status, this shows you, it's a little bit different. This shows you the number of people you started with in the reporting period and then where those people ended up. So it doesn't track the inflow or outflow of clients. It just focuses on who started and where they ended up after, at the end of the reporting period. Again, there's an information tab, interpretation tips, something really cool to look into. And then finally, you have system demographics. So here you can see the number of people within certain age range and race. Now, you see many stars, so that means that the value is suppressed. What that means is that there's less than 11 people that if you knew the age and the race, it would be easy to identify. So that's why those numbers are suppressed. So you're not able to identify that, but it kind of gives you an idea of what clients you're serving based on age and race. And also, here there are filters. You can focus on specific households, head of households or only or head of households and adults, and then the project type. So you can look at it in different ways, the way that makes more sense to you. And next, I want to, let me see my notes. Yeah. We're good on time?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, this is, sorry, the last thing about the system performance overview. Again, it's very helpful to track how your clients are moving through the system. And yeah, that is, oh, and one last thing, I guess, you have resources here. You can see the glossary of all of the terms. And if you Google EVA help with such and such HUD, you'll be able to find links that are super helpful. So that is the demo, and I'm going to pass it on to Brendan.
Yeah, for any of you that are really into the data or the computer programming, this is all open source, and they do have a GitHub. If you know what that means, have fun. But if you want to dig into the code and see what's going on, it's all available there. And they have, if you're interested in testing it or offering suggestions, that's all available kind of through that GitHub. And this EVO will be HMIS CSV is something that can be run both out of DV Client Track and HMIS. We have it set up now, so the only way to run it is hashed, so there's no risk of accidentally pulling client level data out. And this will be available to those data leads as well. So once that gets going, in addition to you being able to do it at the agency level, the data leads will be able to pull it, and you can get those pretty visuals right off the bat for your region. And if you're going to have a data quality committee that wants to dig into it, that's a much better tool for them. I know when I tried doing data quality committees, we lasted about 2 months of, okay, everyone send me your report. Okay, everyone send me your report. And a month later, it's dead because you're spending all your time just trying to get those. So we're really hoping that that will kind of ease that process and make those types of committees and initiatives within your RPC easier. Now, I think we've got plenty of time for questions. Does anyone have any questions? Anything else you're interested in seeing?
Yes. So this is currently available now, correct?
Correct. Yep. Both the system performance measures, the how-to guides we've put together, this website are all available now. Would encourage you to stay for the rest of the day, but you could go home tonight and play with it.
Yes, if you want to write it down, you'll have these slides available, so you can click on it in the presentation, but you can write it down. This is the website you would go to for EVA. And here's the GitHub link that Brendan was talking about.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, this is something we can use at agency level, but you guys are looking for somebody to do this for each region.
Correct. Yeah, each region can have that data lead that then can pull everything. So with I think with a lot of agencies, you specialize in something. You might be a rapid rehousing, you might do PSH. I know some of you do it all, some of you are emergency shelters. So sometimes when you get these pictures, it's not the whole picture if it's not all the agencies within a town or city or region together. So that's why we're pushing for that data lead in addition.
Do we have any regions that are working toward their
We have 6 regions that have identified data lead, and I've begun working with them. I think we have 4 regions that have submitted data plans, and 1 region that has submitted the data plan and all their MOUs. And they were just waiting on me to make a correction and get them going. So that happened last week, and once we are done submitting the PIT and HIC, I'll be getting them all set up to go.
Yeah.
Did I understand that this is going to be in a requirement eventually?
The data lead?
For some region?
At the moment, it hasn't been a requirement. I think it's very much encouraged, and I don't know that it's like, yeah, we're just kind of rolling it out as far as an official leadership position. I guess I just couldn't understand a region that wouldn't want to do it, so why would we have to require it? But if you need help with that, or if you have someone in mind that you think would be good at it, but they're not sure about it or not feeling confident, feel free to reach out. We can show them what it is, talk them through it. But if you've been using Client Track for a year or 2, you know enough to fill that position. And the things that you don't feel strong about, as far as maybe the analysis or the data science or really digging into it, there'll be people in the region that can help.
And I would say, thank you. Even though it's not a requirement, we cannot force you, right, to have a data lead. But we are pretty limited in terms of resources and capacity. There are reports that we need to submit, how-to guides we need to make, help desk that we need to take care of, and other things. So I think this initiative is great that Brendan brought to life because it can give someone in your region that knows the people, that knows the systems, to better contextualize the information that you get. And definitely, data scientists are creating AI stuff, right? So we're not there, none of us, at least not me. So do not be intimidated by that. You saw it's a bunch of clicks, understanding, looking at, reading, and I would say that if you're interested in this, but you're like a little bit hesitant, I would just encourage you to go for it, because something will jump out to you and you will have questions about something. And even if you are or are not able to analyze something, you are the right people to ask questions about your data and try to figure out with other people what is going on. And ultimately, it's you that can make the changes that we need in our state to help people be housed, right? We as IHCDA can do a little bit, but you all can really drive the force to see what needs to happen and all of those things. So we hope that it's very empowering for you to have this tool. If you have any questions about errors with your CSV export, or you cannot find a resource to help you with EVA, the help desk is always available, and you can just send us a quick request and we'll be there for you.
And I think like having access to that data export, attach that to your help desk ticket. Now we're talking the same language. We know we're looking at the same issue, because I know we talk about how much time we spend on the help desk. I mean, we have those 920 passwords to reset and people to reactivate, but we do get data requests and asks for reports. We will get messages that say, hey, my report isn't working. Okay, which report? What daisy did you run it from? So having something like this, so we're on the same page when you have those issues, can really just allow us to serve more people and get more done. Yes?
Our agency is on the DV client track. So if somebody is doing this for our region, would they have access to?
That's a great question, great point. So right now that HMIS Data Lead position is excluding those DV agencies. What we are looking to do is the same reports that HMIS Data Lead can run are available to the DV providers as well. But we want those DV providers to maintain control of their data just because of, the work that you do. But you should be able to pull the same numbers and work with the region to make sure the work you're doing is reflected when you're discussing a region as a whole. Great question. Thank you.
How would you go about it if, say, you were?
So I think talk to your regional planning council. Most planning councils meet monthly or bi-monthly. On the website, there's also like a regional map. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. You can find who your regional lead is and contact them if you need any information about when RPC meetings are.
If you have a joint program, would you have to run 2 separate reports?
So for the CSV and for the system performance measures, you can select as many reports as as programs as you want when you run those. So you can run them for your whole agency at once, or you can run them program by program. Believe it or not, this went an hour when we ran through it the first time. So we got way more efficient. But if anyone has any more questions, or there's anything else you'd like us to dive into while we're here, we're happy to. But if not, don't feel like you have to stay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.